Amazon platform.
I'm not even familiar with Twitch. I would never use it against them.
It's Amazon Prime.
That still might have been when I was only on.
Hey everybody, we're back with another episode of Yankee and the Canuck. We got the Canuck. We got
Yay.
JC.
Yeah.
What we're going to hit, as the title says, the left worships the government, and they have for a very, very long time. Some of them might say, "Well, I go to church," or We've all seen videos of these churches where this very lesbian-looking guy is up on stage and he's saying, "We're going to deconstruct the Bible because we don't believe in some of what these chapters say." So they might actually go to a physical church building, but they're not celebrating or worshiping or praising Jesus. And then the other part is that the right inherently, and people are just now of Gen Z finding out, and they're celebrating it after Charlie Kirk, is that the right worships Jesus first, and that's the fundamentals that formed America's government, and we want to stick to it almost 250 years later.
Yeah,
No reason to change that.
The frightful thing is the government's always been there to protect the left and issue all these laws to protect, whether they're gay, transgendered, any smart comments that people may have had, over the past. So they've always had these laws. The government's standing behind them and making the government, stand behind them because they know they're not going to be accepted, as you said, in your standard church. So therefore, they've had to worship government, because they're the only ones that are going to be there for them. Because society, especially at that, well, even today, never mind that time, has never been and had their backs, and we're not about to now either. We'll be patient with them, of course, while they're going through the learning curve, if they're even interested in doing the homework. But the right, like you said, is right. We don't worship government, and we never have, and that's been, society's war against even just whites and the Germans way back when, because we've never bent the knee to government or any tyrannical government or leader, I should say. So they've hated the white people just for that one reason. We have never been like that, and they say they're the most hard-nosed, uncontrollable people from history past. And now we're back at the same spot today, fighting government, trying to make us, bend the knee and worship them and everything. Well, this Mr. Smarty Pants, trying to make believe that he is the greatest of one all and be all. And we know better. He's not on our side, never will be. So, we still worship, the one and only true God. Not these fictional ones that are coming up with every day more gods they have than the different genders are coming up with. So yeah, we're there now.
Well, the God you're talking about is the I am who I am. The God that appeared to Moses in the burning bush. The God who was recognized in the still small voice, and that's called conscience.
Oh, it's bang.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. I mean that's where I find him. And some of my exes have sought to use that to talk about the good John versus the one that you see on the podcast. But let's face it, right is right, wrong is wrong. There is objective truth. Scientific inquiry is helpful because it helps us discern the truth. But the fact is that the truth for human beings in our emotional affairs is in the Bible. And it can be discerned by people that are open to it. And if you didn't get that from Sunday, oh, God
Oh,
help you.
last
God
Sunday.
help you. That
Yeah,
was that was magisterial
yeah.
beyond belief. I mean, I mentioned on a show last week, and I don't think the insight was originally mine, but that his little tents at these colleges were like a Wesleyan revival. Well, hey, let's have a Wesleyan revival for 300,000 people, and they can't wait to get in. And every hotel in Phoenix is blasting it out in their lobbies, on their televisions. People could not get enough of this,
Well, I
and
think,
and people,
it
old guys like me, camped out at 2 o'clock in the morning, saying, "I've got to get in." Football stadium for that, I mean, this was mission. This was the this was the breakthrough and the breakout that we've all talked about. All the white papers, all the bullshit from the think tanks in America and Victor Davis Hanson, smoking the pipe, going on about how, it'll take a religious revival and, you just can't quite see where that would come from. Okay, I think we all get it now. And there was an episode that I retweeted of some kids at a campus, probably in Minnesota, where they had some trans clown out there shaking his junk in front of them, screaming and all that. And they calmed it down. And the frat boys that had attended after screaming USA, they said, "Well, we just want to talk to him." I mean, Sean liked it. He saw it. I mean, that's what Charlie would do. That's what Christ would do.
Mhm.
If we can live like that, the sky's the limit. And I talked about Scott Pressler as Johnny Appleseed in elections, but Charlie Kirk was Johnny Appleseed in the spiritual realm.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that because I was just scrolling through YouTube, and didn't I find the Piers Morgan show? I don't know if you've ever watched that nonsense or not, but he had on a guest of one of my favorites, Andrew Wilson. And I've always liked him because he knows reality and where we're at in reality as far as society goes. And didn't he have this one guest on? This guy goes by name of Destiny. Now I don't know if he's a trans.
Oh, are you just now finding out about Destiny? Is this
Yeah,
your first experience on the internet with
It
Destiny?
takes
yeah.
it takes a bit. It takes a bit to get north of the border, but go ahead,
Well,
Edward.
apparently,
Holy
I
crap!
just yeah. So I've just first time being introduced to this guy through Piers Morgan, and I got to say the guy is he has no sense of reason. He's nuttier than I don't even know what to use. But I can't believe how Andrew Wilson brought him right back to point right away, snapped him back into shape. And this guy's angry. This Destiny guy. I
Of
don't know how
course,
much you guys know about him, but I just found out he's just an anger ball. And
is he never
Andrew,
not?
I don't know. I don't. I This is the first time I've
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen
no, no.
him.
The guy's been Captain Insano online for 4 or 5 years, and I believe one of our streaming platforms, Twitch, finally banned him because they found that he was using games and going to gaming mode and playing a video game and then just spewing his nonsense,
Oh, gee.
right? And because it wasn't set up as a political
Right.
podcast on Twitch. It was set up in gaming where people say all kinds of vulgar things when they unalive people in Call of Duty, let's just say,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
He was able to say all the things he wanted to say, just
Yeah.
vile stuff about, let's just say, eliminating his enemy. And he still does that stuff. But I believe Amazon did the right thing and they finally banned his account.
Well,
Finally caught
I
up.
just found out the guy's going well because he was yelling that this is all President Trump's fault for not saying we got to, turn down the heat, turn down the
Orange man
volume.
bad.
I know this is what the guy's going on. He said, Charlie Kirk going on universities and just making basically sport of people, and then Andrew Wilson piped up. He says, "Wait a minute, aren't you doing that same thing right now on tour in universities right now, doing the same thing?" And yet he's the bad guy. So I'm glad he brought that point up because this guy is, I'm telling you, more than just
Well,
anger.
let me ask an honest question. Why is the nearly 60-year-old, or maybe plus 60-year-old Pierce Morgan bringing on ex influencers or social media influencers? Is it because he can't get an audience of his own, so he has to draw from
I have,
social media?
yeah, I have no idea.
When's the last time you got any insight from Piers Morgan?
I don't even like the guy. I
10
got to
years
say,
ago, and he's always been a really liberal guy that is
yeah,
on, like, it again. So he's on Fox UK. Can you please, all of you, just that watch Fox? I
Turn
know you're
off
going to hate me for this.
Fox.
Turn it off.
yeah,
Turn
Turn
it
it
off.
off. They are doing you no favors. They are not conservative. The
correct.
guy who was Speaker of the House that blocked Trump for 2 years from 2016 to 2017 and 2018 is on the board of directors. His name is Paul Ryan, former Speaker of the House. They don't want anything to do with you. And you go, well, but I like Gutfeld. Gutfeld will have a way more successful podcast than I do.
Go to YouTube. You
Turn
can
on
watch him
Fox.
there. Yeah.
For those of you that are doubting Sean about Paul Rhino, and that's
Oh,
his
good one.
Paul Rhino, all right? He gave 0 cents for Trump's border wall when Trump had both houses of Congress. He and my old moniker, bitch McCommunist, conspired to deny Trump even 1 dime for border security. All right.
I remember
And
that.
on top of that, he couldn't just ride off into the sunset after retiring and giving Pelosi the House of Representatives. No, he had to go to Fox. And then when we finally settled upon a speaker who said he didn't like CRs and omnibus bills and all the rest of that, Paul Rhino is photographed having lunch coming down in the rotunda the next day with that guy. And from that day forward, that little four-eyed shit weasel Johnson hasn't been worth a damn unless Trump himself screws his thumbs to the wall. Now that's an improvement over Rhino,
Yeah.
but it ain't good. It's kind of like Bondi versus Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
Bondi will do the absolute minimum she's got to do to try to keep her job, and she still may not be able to do it. But she's a yes person when Trump focuses. But other than that, she'll just dribble out the clock like the rest of them. And that's what kills us all. I mean, I was even listening to Peter Navarro tonight talking about there's this guy at the FBI who put him in shackles and all the rest of that. He says he was in on this, he was in on that, he was in on this, he's been in on every J6 thing, he's been in on that and that. And I bet you $5,000 the son of a bitch still works at the FBI. That's the stuff that's driving me nuts.
Yeah. The accountability from these people is, well, left to be wanting. I'm
I
telling you,
mean, look,
there's nothing
look,
there.
A Biden holdover fired Trump's guy who's going to coordinate the 250th anniversary of the nation.
Yeah.
Did you see that? A
Uh,
Biden holdover fired him.
well,
And of course, he didn't file a lawsuit to keep his job, right?
I know.
Well,
I know.
there's a tie in there, right? Back to the title of the show. And for a lot of different reasons, whether they're in power because they're in government or because they're government adjacent teachers,
Yes.
bus drivers, things like that depend on government funding for their paychecks, or whether it's just the people who watch Fox and CNN. You're going to go, but Fox, no, but Fox, you're getting liberal programming every time you turn on Fox. Stop. If you think Gutfeld's funny, he will be very funny somewhere else. Don't watch Fox just because you like Gutfeld.
You can stream him. You don't have to watch Fox.
It's on Fox Nation. Again, why would you pay them?
Yeah.
I will stop. Stop. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Look, you're going to actually find so much better content out there. I obviously would suggest watching this podcast, but there's so
Every
much
time
better
it's
stuff.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, so much better stuff. Yeah, set the alarm. Set the so you're notified on whatever app that you watch us on. You get a new episode, whether it's on Rumble or YouTube or
Mm,
Spotify or Twitch or any of the other ones. We're pretty much everywhere. The only place we're not is Apple, because why the hell would I pay them $100 a year to give them content that they can monetize? So
exactly.
Apple, go
Yeah.
screw yourself.
I
Yeah.
don't want to get arrogant, but I got to tell you, we tie concepts together like Rush Limbaugh. We just do. I mean, that's just what we do.
Well, I never be as good as
That doesn't mean we have the depth of his cleverness or his song parodies or anything like that, or that we would deign to say that we could take the golden microphone. But the fact is, this stuff does tie together, and it has
Oh yeah.
historical content. It has historical context, and you can get information on key battles or military operations or when the tide turned or all sorts of things just by absorbing this and interacting with us and chatting with us and asking us questions. Just do it.
I
We
got a
we
question. JC, who's going to be Snurdly?
yeah, well,
Who makes
Well,
Snurdly?
apparently, I have to be the producer, the call screener, the everything.
okay, so Sean Snurdly. All right, there you go.
Going back to the original statement of this Piers Morgan, and I didn't even know he was a big deal in the UK. I had no idea. But
Uber big. Well, because he was a British movie star, right?
I didn't know that.
He was 007.
No, I did not
Yeah,
know that. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
big
have
time.
to
He was big time, and he's still because of his celebrity, he's big time. But he's on Fox UK.
he's a
It's a
libtard.
thing, and he's an absolute libtard, like all the rest of the people on Fox. And you can
Yeah.
say, but Jesse Waters gives me good stories. Jesse Waters is paid to give you good stories, but he doesn't give it to you from a right wing point
No,
of view either.
you
Uh,
mentioned you mentioned him, but I think Jesse Waters was on Piers Morgan because he was giving
Jesse
him the
Waters, of course,
chickens.
has been all of them do the tour, but the
Oh,
thing
okay.
you watch with Pierce Morgan is he does a panel show like we do,
Uh,
and he brings up current people that are trending on apps, right? Like I've seen Harry Sesson on there.
yeah, yeah,
I have seen I saw the Destiny that you're talking about.
yeah.
I've seen some people on the right. I would
The
never, ever,
Krassensteins.
ever accept. Yes, I would never accept an invite to go on his show. I just wouldn't, out of principle. And a lot of people would be like, "Why? You could get 15 minutes of exposure.
Edward
I don't need it.
Edward
I don't need it."
he's the enemy. Okay?
Hmm,
And the fact is he fancies himself as Simon Cowell. He was on
ah,
all those talent shows and all the
right.
rest of that crap.
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah,
most memorable moment he had on TV was when that old, homely, stout woman in Great Britain came out and sang Les Miserables. And I mean,
yeah,
it was breathtaking. And I mean, the hottie sitting next to him just absolutely melted down over it because her voice was so beautiful. And the idea that that could come out of a 56-year-old woman or whatever she was in a house dress was just absolutely knocked his socks off. And they were all laughing at her. But that's the real Piers Morgan, is the guy who was condescending to her. That's who he
hmm.
is. And
Well,
and she stuck it right up his uh
Yes.
pasty white British
there it
ass.
is. Yeah. Well, no, good news because I couldn't believe the trouble.
Oh, you
Oh
guys are
no!
Because
Oh
no,
when you
no!
no,
look at what's going
no,
on
well,
Is he coming back? Is he coming? Is like
I hope
I
so.
figure the government just censored him.
We got to make
Carney
the
just
pitch on
censored him.
Starlink tonight, Sean.
See,
It's sitting by. I'm ready to send it.
we need to get him on Starlink. I swear to God.
Damn it.
Carney heard what he was about to say, and he's like, "Don't you dare bash my boy
Trust
Bronson."
us.
Right?
Hey, Elon's back, man. He was at Kirk's memorial. He's
Did you
back with
see?
us, kind of. Yeah.
Did you see both Trump and Elon posted for Charlie with the picture
Yes.
of them chatting? And I was
Yeah.
like, that's pretty cool. That's
No, I
cool.
thought it was great. I
Yeah.
thought it was great. In fact, I thought, listen, the left worships government, the right worships God. Why don't you just run Trump's speech at the UN today? That was the most unbelievable thing.
Brutal. He's
Hello.
like,
I
yeah,
mean,
screw you. You stopped the escalator on purpose, and then you took
of
down my
course I did.
teleprompter. And he
When,
goes,
when I saw
his
when I saw the
scheduled
escalator
speech.
get stopped, I thought somebody was going to take a shot at him. I mean,
You
that's
that's
exact.
a thing
Yeah,
going around for sure, and that's something that
yeah,
we need to look into. But the other thing that was funny is that okay, take away Trump's. Are you guys are just morons? Take away Trump's teleprompter. His 15-minute pre-prepared speech just turned into an hour. Suck it.
right. He
Suck it.
absolutely he jammed it right up their ass. That was the most amazing, and he just kept going. It was like a campaign rally. I
You
could
guys
not.
paid to have an invasion in my country. You guys paid like we have what?
You're using our money to do it. Yeah, yeah. I could not love him more. And as time goes on, he keeps pushing the limit. He's getting more and more aggressive with them.
What's he got to lose? I
Nothing.
mean, I don't at this point, if Charlie Kirk's movement, Turning Point USA, holds, the left will have nothing when it comes to, which is typical, winning back the midterms. Which it's typical swing that midterms always go back the other way. If you look at the last 40
Somebody
years,
somebody
I
needs to
don't
tell
think.
Mark Mitchell and Rich Barris, who've been pearl clutching ever since the Epstein stuff.
I can't believe Mark Mitchell still has a following. I mean, he was the guy that came out who was like Ron DeSantis all the way because
I
Trump
know.
kicked him out of the campaign.
You realize
And
you
he came
realize
out, I don't know if you remember it, like he was on Spaces and he was super pissed at Trump and very vocal about it. And
I
he's like,
know.
no, no, we must get Ron DeSantis across the line. And
You
I went in,
realize
he would do like an 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m. space. I'd turn it on my phone. I'd go to work. I'd listen. I was like, holy shit, this guy, like, he's got TDS now, all because he got fired because he thought he was conservatism. He didn't understand where the MAGA movement was going, but he thought he could tell everybody because he was conservatism. He's the MAGA movement. And we all laughed and went,
yeah. And, and what I want to tell Mitchell is Mitchell's going on about how well this Epstein thing's going to sink him, and I said, not when Comey gets arrested.
Yeah,
And I mean, obviously Comey needs to be arrested. Okay, let me put that
that's
out there.
true.
Comey needs to be arrested. Brennan needs to be arrested. There's a few more people that need to be arrested. If that doesn't happen, then he's right. Okay, but based on what Trump put on Truth Social the other day, I can't see how those guys don't get arrested. Adam Schiff, I mean, that memo to Bondi was real. That was unexpurgated Trump. Hey Pam, what's taking so long? We gotta do this. And then 30 minutes later, she's doing a great job.
Have you guys
Well,
seen
what?
her anywhere on Fox? Anywhere?
I
No,
don't really. Well, again, I don't watch cable opinion networks.
Right.
someone,
I might you
someone
might
said,
see a clip of her here or there on social media, but
not
no,
not so much
I
anymore. No, she's not
That's
on
the
Fox all
point.
the time anymore.
I have
I did see something out of the AG's office that they're they're good. They're going to do something great. I can't remember
When?
specifically what it was about. Was it about the J6 committee? I think it was about the
How about
J6
the, how
committee.
about the sergeant at arms come to the Senate chamber and arrest Schiff?
I can't
yeah,
wait.
good one.
I mean, why not? I mean,
Honestly.
why not? I mean, how much
So,
doubt is
right,
there?
lots of different crimes. Get them for any of the crimes you can get them. Just like we got Capone for tax evasion. Like get him on what I don't really give a shit at this point, JC. But I listen. I really want him now when he goes on CNN or anywhere else, and he says, "I have proof of collusion, of
Mm,
Russian collusion." He's no longer on the Senate floor and therefore not protected by the speech and debate clause. And that I would like, if anything, I'm never going to get my wish, but if anything, I want to see people from the Senate and Congress prosecuted for that because it's not within the speech and debate clause. You're
Well,
now outside of the floor.
one more thing is you heard this buzz this week about how, oh, they've only got another week to indict Comey because the 5 years is up since he lied. I'm like, his entire life was a fucking lie. I mean, the guy's involved with a seditious conspiracy to overthrow the United States government. There is absolutely no statute of limitations on that. If you want to ring him up, you can ring him up, but you've got to have the political will to do it. And you aren't going to do it with Thomas Massey type Fox hits. You're going to do it with grand juries and testimony and indictments. And I can't wait. And I really, if you'd have asked me when he got inaugurated, would we still be sitting here on September 23rd? Is it right? Whatever, with nobody arrested, I would have said, I'll be climbing the walls. And in a way, I am. But there's a lot of other things that have happened that are great. And so if they need more time with this to make sure they've got the right venue so it doesn't all get shut down by DC juries and all the rest of that, and they've got to thread the needle legally, I can be patient. But man, if this shit drags through the winter, if we're looking at February or March and we still don't have an arrest, I'm going to be going nuts.
yeah, a year later, yeah, that's way too long. I mean, you
Yes.
could you
In
could start
fact,
these
you're
little
almost too long
promotions.
right now because they're, oh,
Uh,
it's in an election year. You're trying to influence the election. Fuck that.
Perfect.
Arrest them now.
File with
Yeah.
a couple blanket statements to get the thing going already. You don't have to be that well defined right now. Just blanket statement the whole thing, get it going, then define it as you go along. Come on already. Yeah, I'm
What
with you on that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, I know,
And to be correct here, what you need to do is file the prosecution. Once that's filed, then it can go past the midterms.
right. And I see Ed
I'm no
Martin.
lawyer,
Ed
but
Martin's all active on Twitter with, hey, good morning, America. How are you? And I'd be feeling a lot better if there was a fucking indictment.
Right.
Anyway,
Charge somebody, anybody, charge
Letitia, if
them.
you look, if you
Give them
can't
a
charge Letitia James, just get out of here. All right?
yeah,
Like the
no,
Jasmine Crockett of New York, only
what
she's
the
actually
fuck?
got prosecutorial power.
I'm sorry
yeah,
we're stealing the show right now, Edward, but don't you think,
no,
JC,
that's fine.
that that's what the American conservative or MAGA movement, whatever anyone thinks of that, I really don't care. Is
Mm,
we've watched this for so long, right?
oh
We
yeah,
finally got rid of, we had the Tea Party movement in 2010. We had a really good momentum. We had people like Paul Ryan failed us through that, and then so we got the MAGA movement, and we watched all the lawfare. We watched how nothing happened with Paul Ryan again blockading Trump's first
mhm,
2 years, and then which
yeah,
is very typical. Midterms went back to the Democrats with Trump as president, so he got a lot of stuff done. I can pull up lists of
oh
hundreds
yeah,
of items and things he got done, but it could have been thousands. And
yeah,
then now you got Republicans. Not, and this isn't the new Charlie Kirk group yet. This is us watching, going, no, Pam Bondi, or no, Ed, or no, no. We want you to do stuff yesterday. We're
mm,
tired of your
yeah.
political chicanery.
Do you
Good
realize
word.
that the Republican Congress is on yet another week's vacation?
Sure.
I mean, the budget is due on September 30th, right?
They don't give a
They
crap.
haven't done it.
Yeah, but I'm sure that that's part of the plan of what's coming up next. Anyways, they've probably already got that worked out ahead of time, so they can go on vacation because the whole thing's been solved already. And I don't know what these libtards have on the. Well, I can pretty much tell you. I think
Well,
on the
Edward,
Republicans, these rhinos, but I can tell you, and it's not going to be good, which is why they're playing along. But I think this whole thing's already been taken care of already. Yeah, there's going to be some stories of concern. Oh, what are we going to do now? And the sky is falling, that type of stuff. But it's already been planned out, I think, already. Same with our state.
I'm a little more activated tonight than I was planning to be, so my apologies. But I
I,
honestly, uh, the Republicans already put their spending bill through. They introduced it in the House. It passed. They introduced it in the Senate. It failed because of the filibuster, whatever.
Yep.
And no Democrats want to vote for it. That's fine. But you do realize that the hill that Jeffries and uh,
oh, God, that guy.
Schumer have staked out for themselves is on 1.5 trillion more dollars for illegal aliens.
Yep.
They can't win that. They
You wouldn't
can't.
think.
And
Yeah.
I think that's where Trump is. I think he's totally happy to shut down the government on that issue because he remembers what happened the last time Schumer said he'd shut down the government until you take care of these DACA people, and Schumer caved. He caved. I mean, it's the only time you can remember the Democrats caving on a government shutdown. But Trump says, "Hey, we got our bill. We funded the government. You want 1.5 trillion more dollars for illegal aliens? Fuck you." And I
Yeah.
think America is totally with him. And I think as long as it takes, I don't see how we lose. Now,
No.
I haven't heard much from Lindsey Graham lately.
We could
Oh,
totally
You
fuck
notice that?
everything up with people like Lindsey Graham. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta, let's
I
just be
mean,
honest about it.
yeah.
this is when they usually fold. They we don't want to, or Mike Johnson, we don't want to shut down the government. The
Yeah.
hell we don't.
Military won't get paid. Here's the lie. They will get paid. They will absolutely get all
All
the
of them.
money that's owed to them, no problem, through all kinds of different mechanisms. I've explained this thoroughly because I went as a working at a federal agency that we planned for government shutdowns, and we would have operating expenses, so that's employment, everything. Like, this was a transit system, so we had money for the to buy the
Yeah.
fuel for the buses, we had money to buy the parts for the buses, we had money to pay for
That's
all
been.
the things, and we had that for 6 months out. The last one with Obama, the worst one that we ever went through when I was with them, uh we had to actually have a conversation with people because they were getting scared because of what's on the stupid TV over there on the wall. They're like, "Oh my god, we're not gonna get paid anymore." And we had to have
Yeah,
a
when he was
conversation with all the employees and say, "Oh, no, 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 we've never we've gone through government shutdowns. They never last very long. And if this one, like, even Obama's last 30 days, we've got another 90 days of
It doesn't.
operating capital on top of that. Everybody
is
gets
that,
paid."
is that the
And,
one where he was putting up the
and
barricades
remember.
for the outdoor monuments? That was the
Yeah.
most disgusting piece
Well,
of political theater I've ever seen.
That it was, well, and that one
you
was
got to
all
keep
over.
in
Do you
mind
remember
too.
why he did it? It's because he wanted funding for Obamacare, the ACA.
Right.
Yeah. Remember though,
He
this
knew what
funding.
it meant. He knew once he got it, it'd never go away, and he's been right.
Uh, these monies you're talking about, the government folding up. The government's been funded a year before, though. They're not going to run out of money. No, we got that money's already been allocated way back when. So it's not like the government's just going to stop all of a sudden. No money goes anywhere. I mean, that's already been accounted for a long time ago. So of course it's going to keep running. Say,
Ed,
oh, we're not going to get paid. Well, of course everybody's going to get paid. That money's already been allocated for and on the books already. So yes,
you
that will
remember,
happen.
you remember what Schumer said last time he folded and voted for the spending bill?
No, yeah, that was the DACA
It's not
kid you
good.
talked about. That was a while
I'm
ago.
I'm not trying to bust your balls. I'm just saying he was so afraid of Musk and Doge that he figured that if he shut down the government, that all the non-essential people would get fired. That might happen to get the
The non
government reopened. Yeah,
well,
yeah. I,
non-essential.
I would
I could see that.
I would absolutely do it. If you're designated as non-essential, I'd send you home and say, good luck.
No, yeah, I'm all for smaller government, by the way. So that would rest well with me if they did do that. Depending on what they call non-essential, I remember back in the 90s, there was power failures in, I think it was Virginia, West Virginia. I can't remember now, and they wanted all non-essential buildings to shut down for a week until power got restored. The very first on the list for non-essential, all the churches.
Of
Go
course.
figure. Not
Yeah.
essential. We don't need those. I mean, they're only open for a week. People, what are you talking about? You're going to shut them down? They're only open for that one day, maybe two sometimes, but come on. So that's not saving much. Anyways, the first on their list, but that's the Dems for you. Guess who was in power back in those days? That's right, Democrats. Anyways, that's just how it worked. I'm
Shocking.
just so ticked
Shocking.
off by these. Yeah, not that we want to stray far from the topic at hand, but already done that. Too late.
Hey, Edward, how much does the Catholic Church have a capital on hand? Isn't it like
God,
several hundred billion or maybe 100 billion?
absolutely more
Like,
than that. And remember that.
why hasn't the Catholic Church, through the Pope and the cardinals, ever come to the rescue when there's been a need, a financial need, for whatever reason, whether it was the Hurricane Helene in
I've been
North
saying that
Carolina,
for years,
or
John.
whether it was a tsunami in
I know.
Japan, or whether it was a like I help me understand why the Catholic Church, that is sitting on the most massive capital of any church organization ever,
You go,
never puts
ABC.
money in. But they will totally put up a GoFundMe to
No,
raise more capital that they only give 8 cents on the dollar for when they when they do one of these moments.
Let me go a little further with that. They'll sponsor Catholic Charities, who is a keystone of the invasion of the United States. And
Sure is.
they'll fully fund them through second collections from the faithful without ever coming clean
right.
on
And remember,
what that money is for. And I've had many very frank conversations with ex-posters who were dismayed at the fact that I had a better understanding of what the Catholic hierarchy was about than them, because they just wanted to believe happy things.
of course.
And
Yeah.
I understand that you want to think your church leadership is in the right. But let me be equal opportunity. There are people on X who are pointing out, I think rightfully so, looking at the mega churches, the Protestant, the big churches across the United States, looking for any evidence of their reaction to the Kirk uh, celebration of life, and there are none.
No.
And my point is, hey, Kate, don't be upset. The reason we're in this spot is exactly that. They are tongue tied as people are trying to steal our culture and our way of life and our faith. And it's going, as they say in marriage counseling, well, the relationship's working okay for her. You're working 8 or 9 you're working 8 or 9 days a week, and
I
she's
know.
sitting in the backyard getting attention from guys on Facebook. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. All right. So let's hold those guys accountable too.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, as a Lutheran, and I am old line German Lutheran, okay? I'm not into New Age anything. I believe in justification by faith through grace. I believe in reading the Bible. All of that. But I believe in the still small voice. But the whole idea is, if the mega church can watch what happened to Charlie Kirk and remain silent, I have no use for them.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
And
And
I've had
remember,
no use for them. They
mhm,
have failed us. All
Yeah.
right, and we need to acknowledge it that they failed us every bit as much as the government because they've watched this cultural sludge and this slide into Gomorrah, and they've done nothing, absolutely nothing, except serve donuts and collect for building
The
funds.
strawberry.
And have really cool rock bands because
Yeah.
they are really cool.
Now
Yes,
remember,
the
we did talk
entertainment
about.
value is fantastic. That's
Oh
right.
yeah. If you got nothing else better to do, you mean? Yeah, and there's a lots of those people. But remember our conversations from yesterday past, and by the way, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, that's Catholic, by the way. So you want to know where your money is going, or the
Well,
Catholics, and what they're supporting for countries to
we
crime.
could we hold on. We could pitch about this to the day's end because we have all the evidence and we can present the evidence. But would a young, maybe Charlie Kirk turned Christian go? And I say, well, right? That's where we got to get into because you know what? Not all mega churches are bad, but
Of
all
course
mega
not.
churches are bad.
Yeah.
So I'm saying
Sure.
the same thing. But where do you go? Well, do you just go to the local Baptist church? Here's
No,
the
no, no.
here. Hold on. Here's what I will say, and then I would love to hear both of your responses. Go to all of them. Go to one on a Sunday. Go to another on a Sunday, and then the one that greets you and says, "Hey, how you doing? Here's what we do. Here, let me show you to your seat.
Mhm.
By the way, we have all kinds of groups. Do you play basketball? Oh, you don't play basketball. Oh, do you, man, you look like a pickleball player." And you go, wait, this all sounds super weird, right? But
No, that's not. No, that's not
it's
weird.
because that's the church that wants to be involved in your life as a friend and not some sort of organization that is just draining your checkbook so they can buy bigger speakers and bigger screens to play their podcast.
And music, correct. Go JC.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with any of that, but I believe Turning Point is going to endorse congregations, as Sean said yesterday. I'm stealing that thought, and that's the congregation I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I want one vetted by them. Sorry, I didn't expect this to be so deep, but I absolutely want the view of the faith that he had projected from the pulpit.
Yeah.
That's a church I could go to.
I think and I said it yesterday, I think it's dead on that you're going to see. So I can't remember what state superintendent was it Missouri maybe said that we're opening up chapters in every single public school.
Yes.
But
Well,
no, to what I said, JC, is I think you're gonna look like so you've had these two organizations basically pre-write and give all the video and all the timing. And if you've been inside any of these churches recently, and you can see all the electronics, and they've got the countdowns of how long you're, and they've got like a teleprompter, but it's on behind you, is to see a Turning Point approved church.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
Turning Point approves it, that I think that thing is just going to rock. Literally rock. It'll be full of young people and then some old bastards like us that have a couple of bucks to throw in the pot,
yeah.
right?
And we can participate in their Bible studies and give this sort of perspective that is not available from their generation.
You know,
They can kick our ass at basketball. And we can tell them George W. Bush was no Republican hero. We all hated him too.
but
In fact, I missed the space, but he was one of the bottom 5 presidents, and you will never convince me otherwise.
no, I love that. We had some good answers there. I mean, that was great.
Good.
I got to go back to a comment you made earlier, and because we've always said, Sean, for years now that politics and religion are completely inseparable. You cannot separate and take one out of the other. It's an impossibility. And so, I know from where I'm from here, Toronto, just David From. Actually, he's I guess you could
Oh
say
my God!
the
All
correspondent
right.
from Washington. He is such a libtard. He just absolutely sends me over the edge from the spin on. And by the way, his mother before him, she was the regional correspondent for the White House. So he just kind of followed in her footsteps,
Yeah,
only
imagine that. Yeah.
worse than she was. And so we've had no right wing. When I say right wing, I'm just going to say a proper, reasonable person, commenting back on some of the ridiculousness that they've reported. I guess you could say reported because they really didn't report it. They made their own spin and kind of outright lied to
Well,
it.
no. Hold on, the spin. The spin. Here's the spin this last week. For all liberals, be very concerned about Christian nationalism.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Which is, I don't care what they're doing. What they don't understand is this is exactly through the 5 or 6 thousand years of humanity has led to America. And we've gone through in great detail the story of the separatists. We've gone in great detail 150 years later the story of the revolution. It's always been Christian. And so when these people are saying, you guys are Christian nationalists, I don't care what you call me. I don't care what names you call me. This government was always founded on the beliefs of Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then why even put the attached the nationalism? I mean, that's a German term from the Second World War when they said, "Oh, a Christian nationalist."
You get it then. You get it because that's what they're doing. They're trying to use language
let's
to
not
associate it
stop doing that. I wish
with younger people who don't have any experience or knowledge of the Nazi regime or the fascism that happened in Italy. They're trying to tie that to Christians and say it's right wing. And you got to remember, in a lot of countries, right wing is actually the left. Australia specifically.
But
remember,
when you look at Italy, look at
Australia is like upside down. I mean, they're just...
I've been very clear about this because the Earth is flat. Australia is on the underside, and they have to wear gravity boots to stay stuck to it.
I love the flat earthers. That's funny. Good for you. You just had to throw that in.
I mean, they were a prison island with a bunch of Aborigines. What do you expect? Sorry, Australia. I mean, I after what I saw with COVID, I can't shake that thought.
Yeah,
You guys threw Djokovic out of your nation when he should have won the Grand Slam. I mean, you robbed that guy of tennis immortality because you're afraid of a virus. Good Lord, the guy's the most healthy guy you'd ever meet.
It's so true.
I'm so sorry. That's just national stupidity. I'm not a fan of Down Under. I'll never go there. I'm sure they're heartbroken.
Wasn't that just political too? Because there was no science to trust.
None. That was going to be the subject for our next show, Sean. No science to trust.
That's Friday. By the way, everyone who's listening live, Friday, we're totally gonna take some punches at Dr. Evil in the science.
Yeah, and guess what? I know it won't shock a lot of you to think that for America's Dr. Mengele, I recommend a short drop and a sudden stop.
We're recommending XRP. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I get enough of that. Every post on X is about that, man.
Oh my God. Dude, well, Edward, obviously I pay for premium, so for a reason. So for a lot of different reasons, I use Super Grok a lot, but it also it filters, and it's going to filter even better the blue checkers in just weeks or maybe months, maybe a month, not months. It's going to eliminate me from seeing any of this retarded spam.
I hope you're right because it's the blue check people. Those are the ones that are hitting the whole thing hardest because
I could tell you just from my DMs alone now that they've opened up what's called chat.
Mm-hmm.
I have a chat or I have unencrypted. Those are my choices. And even the group that the DM group that you and I are in tonight, which I did drop the link for you and said for Edward,
Thank you.
of the live video.
Good
They
job.
don't show up. They don't show up in my chat, my encrypted chat, and they
Uh-huh.
will eventually never show up. I won't have the unencrypted thing to look at. So all of that goes away for me, which is disappointing for that chat group, for them specifically. But for me, I just get less notifications because I get less stuff.
Well, thank goodness. It's a killer out there right now. From what you said earlier, Sean or JC. Yeah, very true.
Just help me stay connected to that little girl from New Zealand, all right?
Oh, yeah,
The
I
Kiwi.
don't want to lose track. I don't want to lose track of her.
she's
Hi,
she's
Kiwi. I hope you're listening.
a fun girl.
JC, super
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
listen. I'm a little. I got a little snow on the rooftop, but I like her.
Yeah. Actually, all the girls in that, actually, all the people I find
I
are
can tell you like them, Edward. Yeah.
no, true. The whole room, they're just great people. Yeah, because you keep hearing the bing from my message, don't you? Ding, ding, ding. Stop it
Yeah,
already. You're
yeah.
going.
Edward, look, I'm gonna pick on you. So when you like a post,
Yeah,
we can't see it. When you comment to a hot chick,
yeah.
it gets broadcasted and we can all see it. So
But
we see the people you're talking
how do you distinguish between who's hot and who's not? Because I think they all are.
Okay.
to.
They're all wonderful, nice girls. I'm telling you, everyone.
This is this is that legendary Canuck discernment that convinced them not to come with the U.S. in 1812, right?
Right?
Hey, we still got to finish that war, by the way. The 1812 war is going to be finished once and for all coming up in the next few
Yeah,
months. I'm
you
sure
guys let
that
the
happen.
fucking French burn down our White House because you didn't do it, and I have
You didn't,
proof
right,
behind
but you
it,
didn't
and I
do
can
anything
send you
about
the
it either.
evidence. But
No.
you totally supported the French burning down our White House. You're going to have a hard sell,
Uh,
especially after what Carney has done to become the 51st state or to
yeah,
ever be supported by the United States. And that actually concerns me as you being our northern border partner. Right,
well,
Edward?
you know what?
If you
Remember,
guys
you
are
brought
in bed,
down
if you guys are in bed with the CCP, it's not going to go well with for you. It's
no,
not.
and we're not. As far as I know, Canadians overall, we have no voice in that. We've never pandered to any such organization or country. And what they're touting now, as far as this big immigration from one certain country, that wasn't our pick. That was actually the liberals, and they're blaming one guy. A libtard thinking the whole party is just that. They're trying to blame one person. Oh, it's all Trudeau's fault. It's all Carney's fault. They're the ones that voted these leaders in. The public doesn't vote for the prime minister. The party elects the prime minister. So they're all idiots. All libtards are sick individuals. So you're saying it's not one guy. All these liberals are sick in the head. And that's what we're
We're,
fighting because why? They want government to save us. Oh, government is harder, and that's what we don't want. We
we're
do
back
want,
to our topic. We're back to our topic, Edward. Declare independence.
yeah. And
Just
I've been saying
stop,
that too. How
stop
come
with
no
this.
one's no one signed that declaration yet? And I thought our Western counterpart, who's bragging about, well, we're just going to separate. Well, where's the document you signed for
Do it.
independence? Where is it? I have
Well,
this
well,
big
It's like
ball.
it's like waiting. It's like waiting for a Bondi indictment. Will you do it? You know
I know.
you're
It's
supposed to do it.
painful. It's like watching this ball or jar fall in slow motion. You know it's going to hit the floor and shatter, but yet it's just incrementally.
well, at
You know,
least
step,
I,
it
I,
just drives me insane.
I've had a couple of interesting conversations with, and I'm not going to get into them, but with some family recently that because they were curious about Charlie Kirk, and so they sent me this bullet list of just single sentences, things that Charlie Kirk said out of his mouth, and I said. I said back to them, I was like, do you remember Corinne Jean Pierre talking about cheap fakes? Because
Yeah.
this is what she was talking about is you took one sentence that he was only maybe repeating back what the person said,
He
Yeah.
always did that.
right? And they took that
Clarify
sentence and
to
said,
clarify what they're saying. Right.
right, and to move forward, like So cheap fakes. I didn't make this shit up. Corinne Jean Pierre, oh ho ho, made it up, and we
Just
weren't.
come on, just a question. How are her book sales doing?
Oh man,
He has a book.
I'm pretty sure every hold on public school library
Yeah.
across the entire nation has spent your tax dollars to buy her book, and
Yeah,
that's another grift we need to talk about. Is
and
these left wing
she's an
people like
independent.
Chuck Todd or
Yeah.
Kareem Jean Pierre get all their books? They'll sell 10 million copies because who buys it? The public
The
schools,
tax
and they
dollars.
put it
Or
on
an
their school
NGO
library.
or an NGO or whoever.
Another one.
All yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, she's a you know what she is. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? The left does just has this knack for picking the best people in their whole organization. We can go from the, I guess the nominated, I guess the vice president to president. I don't know how that even happened. I guess the party did the same thing what they do in Canada. They elected who was going to run for president and make president. I don't think anybody had a vote on it, but that's
No
what you got from Kamala. But yeah, they're
one
just
voted. No one voted for Biden. No one voted for Kamala. No, I mean it was just
they
all hardwired. Yeah.
just kind of just stepped in place, just like we got the ridiculousness going on up here. And then of course,
And in Great Britain got Richie Sunak. Nobody voted for him. And I continue to point that out when you have people in Great Britain that want to go off on Trump. I'm like, hey, you guys voted for Liz Truss. I saw that, and then she got flushed. And then the next thing I know, here's Richie WEF Richie Sunak. Where did he come from? Who voted for him? The
uh,
same people that voted for Mark Carney. Same
and
people.
But where'd Mark Carney come from? This guy was a
That's
complete
the
top
point.
failure, and yet now he's coming across back into Canada. Was he ever a Canadian? I don't know. But he's got 3 different passports. So who do we believe, and who is he really focusing on or supporting? Though not
To the whole point of your topic for tonight's Yankee and the Canuck, they worship idols. They
Yeah,
don't worship
Yes.
Christ.
correct. And we're witnessing it. And they got caught flagrante delicto with the assassination of Charlie Kirk just to prove the point. Yeah, red-handed. That's what that means. Caught red-handed, and we all know it. And now they're trying to, add in all kinds of excuses of why, and it's Trump's fault because he didn't dial down the rhetoric and the temperature. Come on, that was never going to help. We know that already. JC, look like you're going to
It's
jump in the
not
conversation.
It's not one-sided. That is the bullshit grift. It's not one-sided. It's trans shooters, it's left-wing violence, it's out of control. And the media's got this little algorithm they run, no red baseball cap, no story. So
Yeah.
I know as soon as somebody gets shot, I know within 2 hours if one of us did it, and we never do. And I
Nope, I
mean,
know.
even after Kirk got shot, nothing happened. Nothing happened. There
But
were vigils, there were memorials, there was
yeah,
everything, and nobody's burning cars, nobody's burning down cities, nobody's looting businesses, nobody's doing
we're
anything
not,
like that.
we're not
It is
immature.
not both sides. That's
Correct.
bullshit.
Yeah, and there's something very special about the right and what we worship and how we worship. Remember, what you worship, you're going to turn into fairly soon. That's just the way it goes. From the very bad stuff, everything sinister and diabolical, to the very good, you're eventually going to follow or turn into what you're worshiping. And this is the problem with this great divide we see happening. And by the way, that forgiveness thing that we were going to talk about that we never got to because we're almost out of time. Very important
And
thing that we have to look at how that happens, how difficult it is, but it can be done. But we have to have the right understanding of why we're doing that.
if you wanna talk about forgiveness, I can summarize it for you in a JD soundbite.
Well, let's have it. No, go
Cheap,
ahead.
cheap grace is when you forgive people for something that didn't affect you. And you see liberal town councils and that all the time go on about how we forgive you so on because you did this, or you shut up this school or whatever, and they've lost no one. All right.
Right.
Erica Kerr. Okay. She showed the true grace of God.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
She didn't want anything to separate her from him in the afterlife. So she put it down and she forgave him. She forgave him. And there's only two entities that can forgive that rat bastard. One is her, the other is the Almighty Himself.
Yep.
Because they're the two that were injured.
Yep.
And we lose sight of that in the West, much to our detriment with all the happy talk Christians. So you see JD is back now. But
No.
man, she absolutely touched my heart. She's a moral giant.
Yeah. And you remember too, as days before, and we can read these even Old Testament, New Testament, whatever God had put into our life, no matter what it is, we have to respect that it's in our lives. He allowed it to happen. We have to, our trust and faith has to be with Him and in Him, that He knows what He's doing. And for whatever reason to happen, we have to run with it, ride with it, and be at rest with it and at peace with it. And that's where the forgiveness comes in, because as when David was being killed or hunted down by Saul, David had the chance to kill him, but he said, "Far be it from me to kill our Lord's anointed. You're the one our father is talking to. You made him king. I'm not about to take that kingship away from him. That's not it with me, even though I have rights to. I'm not going to do it because you made him king, so I'm not going to touch him. Far be it from me to do that." Because even though he was trying to kill him, that's the whole point of the chase through all the desert there.
Edward, Edward.
And that's where it comes down to the trust and the faith and the belief that He knows what He's doing.
I'm going to let this
Oh, I
run
know.
long, boys, if you're okay with that. I'm going to let it run
Yeah,
long.
let's do it. I mean, there's something really big about what the criticism of Trump at the memorial, where he was going on about how he hates his enemies and all that, and
Oh,
they're,
well,
oh, Trump, he's so harsh, he's this, he's that. No, what
that's
he's
human.
admitting is that he's admitting that Charlie Kirk is a better man than he is.
But
That's
you know
what
what?
he was
I don't care.
self-deprecating.
It's still hard to do, to forgive. Let's not make light of that either.
No, if I
There's
was him, I wouldn't forgive those sons of bitches. They're still doing it.
I know, and it's a tough fight, and to have that. I don't even know what you want to call that. That's it's more than just being having a fortified soul or guarded against, but to have that type of grace where you can just
I well, I think no, Edward. To your point, I think it's impossibly hard to forgive when you've been the one that's been transgressed upon,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And to make that decision to forgive and to do it publicly, which you should do.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be on a Facebook post. It doesn't. You just
ah,
have to say it out loud to God
mhm.
publicly, right?
Acknowledge it. Yeah.
That's the hardest thing us as humans have ever had to do.
Oh
But
yeah.
What
remember,
would
that's a whole lot easier
Charlie
than
do?
carrying a cross through a town and getting thrown fruit at and getting whipped and then standing on the cross for all those
Scourged
hours.
and having
So,
someone run a sword into your side and put vinegar in your mouth and all that while you're dying of thirst.
all
Absolutely.
right, we at least lived to get
Yeah.
past asking or forgiving that person that harmed us so
Yeah.
grievously.
I always want to be.
Jesus didn't, and there's a
I always
reason he didn't. We can all explain that quickly. He had to save us,
correct.
right? But as
And
humans, even today, humans, right? Whatever terrible event happens in your life, what she did was
Oh,
forgive that human being, and that was hard to watch because it reminded me of when I had
I,
to
I,
forgive
I know.
another human being for being just the most terrible person on the planet.
A lot of us have had that. You're not the only one, and I agree with
and
you.
and you know what? I'll make a confession here. I'm not quite there with a few of them, and
And I think a lot of us
I
can
mean,
say that.
I'm like Trump. I wouldn't mind seeing the ex suffer. I mean,
Right.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are in the same boat because I always imagine, carrying your cross, as it says, there was going to be a nice padded cross, nice and comfy. I'll do it, but it's got to be no slivers, nice and padded and comfy. I'll
Well,
do that, but it's not.
Those
That's not reality,
no,
though.
no, no.
the
I think
Canadian
like
cross.
both of you make great points. Let me look at it from this standpoint. Here's where I had to get to spiritually and mentally was that again the judgment of this person and the foul that they did on me is for God to judge.
Yeah.
And they're going to have that conversation at the gates, and it's going to be super awkward and super uncomfortable, no matter how much church they went to, because that sin, if they themselves, I want to be clear, did not also repent for it, if they did not ask to be forgiven for doing the bad deed, then they're going to have to answer to our Lord and Savior. It's going to
Mhm.
be the most awkward of times because you're like,
Mhm.
"Hi,
I
I think I made it,"
uh,
and then Peter looks over and goes, "So we got to talk about a few things." And you go, "Uh-oh, fuck."
uh-huh.
That Stromberger guy. Yeah, what's with that? Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Uh,
Right? And why did you never repent for that? No, repenting, everyone, younger people might not understand what repenting is asking for forgiveness.
a turnabout, really. Yeah, it's more
Right.
than just. Yeah,
But
it's
repentance is about the individual rethinking what they did.
yeah.
And
That's a
that's
good way to look
a
at it.
very personal thing as opposed to corporate forgiveness involved in, the confession of sins in a church. Yeah, I've sinned against me. You sinned against you in thought, word, and deed, blah, blah, blah. And we all know what we did. But at the same time, the repentance personalizes it to the situation.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
I don't want to leave out the whole pride thing when it comes to forgiveness and that part of ourselves where we think ourselves to be above it all or bigger than it all or better than somebody else. That's the pride, and we have to keep in mind that to forgive means that we've put them on the same plateau as us, not above, not below, equal to us, and that's the real slam right there, and putting ourselves back in well grounded fundamentalists again, which we're touching our feet on the ground, and that we are all made of dust and dirt, and we have to keep that in mind that we're not better or 10 foot tall and bulletproof. We're men, and if our Father put that before us to deal with, then we're going to have to do that. And if forgiveness is one of those things we have to do, yeah, it's going to hurt to, as it would seem, lower ourselves because somebody came by and made themselves bigger and better than me. So you have to forget all about that and know that that was our test. That was the fire right there. And when I say the heart is the center of everything, like the heart of a tree, the heart of celery, the heart of whatever, that's the very center. The heart of us is our spirit. When people say your heart broken, your spiritual broken, your spirit broken. That's what that means. So if your spirit is broken or heart broken, as we like to call it, that's the very center of us. And our spirit has to go through that fire, that testing that our Father puts before us. And so that's where the forgiveness comes in. The whole thing has to work in unison together. I think you did a very good job of that. Talking about Erica, mind you. So
Absolutely.
No, no, no.
I just want to put out there real quick for men specifically. Women, you're welcome to include this, but I want to talk to the men specifically because we three men have all had to make the choice to forgive something horrible that's happened in our life. If you're struggling with that, you don't want to go to church yet, but you're interested in Charlie Kirk, you want some you could find us mostly on X. You can send us a message or you can tag us in something. We could do a private conversation with you, whether it's text or phone call or whatnot, and we would be glad to do that with you. So
Right.
don't
And
think that we're just up here on the screen just talking about. No, we're actually here to help. We
and I
will.
mhm.
promise I won't yell. I mean, these guys will tell you I actually can listen. Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're
So
all bad that way. We're all
I
terrible.
want to put that out
And I
there.
and I and I actually care. I mean, shoot me, but yeah, I mean, I want people to have
You're
success in their
not as
lives.
sarcastic as the guys that remember that show. Uh, Now I can't remember the show. It was a Netflix show, High Castle, or no, Man in the High Castle,
No.
where the Germans and the Japanese had taken over America, and
I
people
already
were
like it.
talking through ham radios, and
Yeah.
like everybody was trying to be like super discreet about their ham radio message, but there was this one guy that was like, "Fuck the government."
Mm.
Like that
That'd
was
be,
his radio transmission.
that'd be my guy right there.
Like you got this balance of so the Japanese own the West Coast, the Germans own everything up to the Rocky Mountains, and then in the middle is where the Americans that were still trying to survive and not be slaughtered was. You
Here
might
we
like
are.
this show, which you would have been, of course, a radio show host on, and you would have
Yes.
been belting out about we're making plans to get them all.
Well,
Well, did you guys there was a mini series on one of the cable networks, The Last Ship, and it was about an infection and a doctor and all the rest of that, and I was
Again,
digging it. Yeah,
dude,
did you
wait,
ever
wait,
see
no,
that?
no, I haven't seen it because I want people to produce new content, and I'm so tired of just replicating things every 10 to 15 years.
All
So I
right.
don't watch, like, my TV's on literally right now to Movie Sphere, which is everything from 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That's it.
All right. Well, no, The Last Ship was about some people who had the immunity and then people who didn't, and I think it was a virus or whatever. But I always fantasized about the fact that I think they actually brought the damn boat to St. Louis. I felt really personal about it. I was ready to go down to Laclede's Landing and
Yeah.
welcome them, right?
They came all the way up the Mississippi.
Hey, all the way up the Mississippi, right,
Wow.
to avoid
outstanding.
the submarines that were trying to sink them. Yeah.
I don't really watch any TV or get it hooked in these miniseries. I
Well, you
don't
don't have
know.
anything up there. You just get your Nortel networks and all the rest of
Oh,
it.
he's
Yeah,
got DM groups.
yes.
Huh?
Well, I know, and group chats. I know.
Oh yeah,
He's
you're
got
still
group
on me
chat.
about that. Hey, they're fun people. If you like Wordle and stuff like that, and,
Bodies. Yeah, I know.
and, yeah, of course they're not hard to look at either. So that all
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't
they're
complain
great
about that,
people.
right?
Love them all. Yeah. Well, you know
Final
what?
words. Final words. Let's close it out.
Go ahead, JC. What do you got? I'll go after you.
Well, my point is that I used to hear people like Victor Davis Hanson and the rest of these people
Yeah,
talk
love
about
you.
what would what would make a difference in the West. And they always would mention, however many think tanks or white papers or whatever they wrote, which were all useless, they all mentioned, that there would need to be a spiritual component. And I find it very heartening that it was happening right under their nose and none of them saw it. And it happened the way it always happens. It happened with inspiration and the agency of the saved individual who heard the still small voice and took it to the audience. The Wesleyans had their campgrounds where they sang their gospel songs and all the rest of that. But Charlie had the campuses where he put up the tent and he evangelized every bit as effectively as the Wesleys ever did. And it was all happening right under our nose. And everyone's, oh, Kirk, he's got influence, he's this, he's that, and they never understood where his power came from. They know now.
That's a very good one, and you know what? I have to add on to that because if you're talking the John Wesley movement, there was a guy by name of Moody, Dwight Lyman Moody, D.L. Moody. and they had the same conversation about him in this room, saying, what makes him think he has this monopoly on God? And he says, I don't think he has a monopoly on God. I think God has monopoly on J.L. Moody or D.L. Moody. And he was right, because that's how and that's the same thing as Charlie Kirk. God had a monopoly on him, not the other way around. And we mistake that sometimes. And I think, bravo, good for him, because he was following the way that was laid out for him. That's the same way as D.L. Moody and John Wesley's and the rest of them. Very good. But yeah, keeping that in mind, yes, JC, what?
And do I wish that he would have contacted Eric Prince about security and done a better
Oh,
job?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah.
I want you to think about this. History rhymes, guys. St. Paul went to Rome knowing that he would lose his life, but knowing that every road from Rome spread out across Europe and everyone would hear what he had to say.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mhm.
just saw the same thing. This kid's life is on video. No one is ever going to forget him, ever.
No.
Audio, video, every situation, he was studied up on everything. The kid was a true prophet, and his death has made him 30 times as powerful as he would have ever been had he lived.
I'm not so sure about that, because our enemy has to
Oh,
think on, is he going to be more dangerous to me alive or dead? I'm going to have to take a chance. I'll martyr the guy and
All
still
right.
lose a lot, or,
I
or I'm going to live.
think
And
by looking at just the TP USA numbers,
Yes.
he is much more dangerous having been assassinated. So they
Yes.
had about like 8,000 high school and college chapters. Not you'd say that's a
2000,
lot.
2000,
Oh,
2000 when he got shot.
2,000. And
Ooh,
there are 60,000 applications.
Yes.
And what was that superintendent? Was it Missouri? Is that am I
Yes.
right? Said that we're going to implement one in every single one of our high schools.
Yes. Yes. Edward, what would it have taken him alive to get to 70,000 when he worked 13 years and got to 2,000?
right. Yeah, I
What
know what
would it
you're
have
saying.
taken to get him to 70,000?
I know what you're saying, and I don't
This
know.
is
I
my
don't know
point.
the.
This is like St. Paul and Christianity.
Mhm.
I mean, this is where it's at. The
Yeah.
religious revival happened, and you saw the revival on Sunday.
Yeah, I wish I could have
And
seen that. Gosh, I missed it. I only got to see.
It,
it's on live stream. Just get on Real
yeah,
America's Voice and
TPUSA
watch it.
anywhere. YouTube,
It's
Twitter, doesn't
everywhere.
matter. YouTube, TPUSA. It's 8 hours. Just
And
play it while you're at work in the background. Put your earbud in.
I told you what happened in Minnesota, right? They
Yeah.
brought out the trans screamer and they brought out all this shit, and the frat boys showed up and started screaming USA, USA. But at the end, they didn't chase them off. They didn't call the cops. They wanted to talk to them.
Yep, that was good.
No,
Really good.
that's Sean. That's divine.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's beyond me. Okay, because I'd want to chase. I'm like Trump. I'd want to chase him off. I I admit I'm a crowd. I want discomfort to my enemies, but let's
Yeah.
face it, we're never gonna do this if everybody's if I'm just dancing on their
Wow.
grave.
Well,
Not
no,
gonna
no.
never
Quick
happen.
question. We're running long, but quick question to Edward. So when we look at the Bible, and I learned, I lean to you as the expert on this, but JC's welcome to jump in. So in Erica Kirk's forgiveness, and then Trump also saying biblically correct things that I don't like my enemy, and I wish bad things upon my enemy. Well,
Yeah.
both things are correct.
Yeah.
I don't care about the politics or any of that, but just they're both biblically correct. But what Trump will have to do eventually, after he's the one in power that can seek human retribution, right?
Wow.
Against Charlie Kirk, and that's what people are going to look at, right? But
Hmm.
it won't be Tim at all. It'll be the justice system. It'll be the way the courts work. It'll be exactly like Erica wanted. She wants the courts to take care of it. She doesn't want to make that decision. But
Hmm.
people are going to look at Donald Trump and say, well, Donald Trump's bringing retribution against this. And I go, well, he's not biblically wrong because even Charlie Kirk talked about this. If you take a life, your life should be taken.
Right.
Well, that's Old Testament stuff, where the New
It
Testament
is,
says that
yeah.
no,
So
it's the
walk
opposite
us through that.
true.
Walk us through that.
Well, I
It's
mean, as far as the New
different.
Testament, having love for our enemies, absolutely, because we have to look at, we're not fighting, flesh and blood. It's a spiritual realm, and we have to identify that and know what it's capable of and the power it has against us. So we have to realize that, and no, it's not the person, man themselves. It's that center of them, that spirit of them, that heart of them that's really controlling them by or through someone else. So we have to realize
So
that and recognize that.
no, but like what I'm trying to get at is even in the New Testament. In the New Testament, did they not war?
What do you mean, did it not war?
Did they just say we love?
Well, the
We
Christians
don't
were there
war?
because the Romans were killing them. They were, making sport of the theaters and having lions eat them. And it was a sport. It was a game to them to kill Christians and put them make them torches, human torches out of them, but stick them on posts and light them on fire and all kinds of different things. Because they're trying to stamp out Christianity because it was spreading so fast, especially with all the martyrs. And JC mentioned
Edward,
Paul being a
Edward,
good one.
you're talking about the lions in the Colosseum. I mean,
Yeah.
that's who ate
Uh-huh.
the Christians. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's many other things besides that, but that's a very spectator
All
sport,
right,
I guess.
so a lot of, all right, the anti-government libertarians. We can do a whole series
Oh,
on that. Hold on, but
Oh, goodness.
the Christians are turning the other cheek. Christians are love. This is where I'm trying to get at. Even with the New Testament, and
uh-huh.
even with the talk of forgiveness, even in the New Testament, there was still war
Always.
from Christians.
Yeah, but
Always.
because there is a time for peace and a time for war. It depends on what we're battling against and fighting against or for. There's a big difference there. But you know what? We're not going to have to get into a big conversation of the very understanding or description of that word love because nobody knows what it means. I've been searching and I've been preaching this for since 1999. Ministers, rabbis, priests, none of them have given me a good answer of their definition of love, the very thing they're supposed to be doing as a church to pastor the people, and they failed miserably at it. They haven't done their job, and that was our whole point of
And
being
they're
the Christians was to love and walk in love and teach love. Not one of them had done that, and this is why we've been
and
failing.
Edward, their silence right now is deafening because they realize they've all capitulated to your
I hope
favorite
you're right.
libtard. They've
Yeah,
all capitulated to your libtard feminists to keep the peace. That's what they've done. They've
which is
sacrificed
wrong.
the gospel of Christ. They've sacrificed the gospel of Christ for social justice. And
Which is what I
that's why I do not attend church at this time and have not for more than a
Yeah.
decade.
which,
I,
Even though
which
I
as
know.
you can probably tell from my testimony that my relationship with the Almighty is very important to me,
yeah.
Mhm.
but I have not I, I'm not going to even get into the details.
Oh, me,
Which
Sean,
is why
what?
well hold on, which is why my prediction from Monday's show is that you're going to start seeing so they already have a group, Turning Point
Yes.
Christ is going to start forming churches, and it will be largely run by young people, high school and
Oh,
college
good.
age students.
Nice.
Fine.
Love
And
that.
you know what? If there's one that shows up to around me, I'm several hours from the Triangle, what is called in North Carolina, where the
Count
three
your
big schools
blessings.
are. But
Count
there's
your
oh
blessings.
no no no. I get what you're saying, but obviously we have satellite schools. We have App State
Right.
that's probably 90 minutes from me. But once the Give it just a year. Let those young men get filled with Christ and start churches.
Yeah.
Start Turning Point, and you
Well,
will see it as a brand, and everyone will go, "Oh, look, no, see the branding." No, Turning Point churches, because they want to turn the point. They want to. It's a turning
but
point.
it's real
They want to
Christianity
bring
too.
these young men are going to want to bring back Christ in a way that we haven't seen
Since the
since
Catholic Church.
Ever,
probably
Since,
hold on,
ever.
probably since the 16 and 1700s.
or
Right.
before that even.
We've
Yeah.
never seen it. We've never seen it.
Agreed. Yeah, and that's real church, by the way. When you're talking about Turning Point USA, that was real church, real Christianity that he was propagating. He was preaching. You know what? Really, a Christian, a real Christian,
I'm
identifies
not
as.
Catholic. There are no
Edward,
prophets.
Edward, let me throw a bone to the Catholics. Augustine and the Desert Church. I've thought many times about Charlie Kirk in the desert of Arizona.
Okay.
No, I mean it. History rhymes. I
Yeah,
mean
Okay.
it's
that's
true.
where he was. Yeah.
Uh huh.
I
Yeah.
mean that's America's desert church right there, and it's in your face now. And what I was saying before is nobody saw it coming. None of the smart people saw it coming. They all had him on their show. They all got their clicks. They all did their clips. They all conducted
Yeah.
commerce and all the rest of it. And yet this massive thing was happening under the surface, and nobody saw it. It's so amazing. It's almost impossible to quantify. It makes me want to cry.
No,
And I'm not soft. I I
I know.
I love the Lord. I love the Lord. I do. And it's amazing how he works it through
No,
the forces of evil, and
I know it.
it's
Yes,
only every time. And in a free society, it can bubble to the surface, and we've just proven that again. And if you don't think that 2016 at 11:35 p.m. on election night, when Trump won Florida, wasn't heaven sent, you're not paying attention. You're
correct.
just not. We had no path if that didn't happen. And he was his own John the Baptist, and now he's King David, and next comes King Solomon, and we've got our desert church. And I mean, it is a golden age. It's coming.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
going to fucking happen. It
I
is.
agree.
I mean, as long
Soon.
as we pray, as long as we pray.
And
And
we
you
gotta do
guys
something.
really need to get your shit together, declare independence, and come with us. All
I
right?
know.
I'm not going to let you off the hook.
No, I'm with you. I've been talking about that nonstop, and yeah, we need to have that
I'm going to
sign.
sit here and cry about the future and let you guys go down under Mark Carney. I can't
Oh my
do it.
God,
All right.
that'd be the
Jesus.
goofiest thing for Canadians to actually have suffered through after everything we've been through as a country to submit to that clown show that we got going on here. Oh my God, how embarrassing!
You
But yeah,
put him
no,
on
another time.
site, but they all said, "Screw Trump. We hate Trump.
Yeah, I
Trump
don't know
bad."
what idiots are saying that, but I don't think a lot of us in Canada think that or feel that.
Those,
You're getting these
You're not
Canadian,
gift
allowed
those
to.
cards.
Canadian,
Wait,
Edward, I'm going to
wait.
quote you.
So
Those Canadian girls
in
are
2020, do you think the vote in America was an accurate vote of the people?
No, of course it wasn't.
Then
Trying
I
to
would
get
say
back
that
over here.
your votes are also inaccurate.
I know that a lot of us
They're
know that.
using Dominion. I mean, it's the same old shit up there.
I know. It's nothing new. I mean, yeah, we've been talking about that for some time now, and yeah, we got to get that declaration signed, PDQ, or in layman's terms,
You need to do it.
quick. Yeah, I
PDQ is
agree.
a chicken joint in the South, so you'll have to come up with a better term.
Well, I know we're out of time, but I could go on for hours on what I was going to say next. But I'm
Start
not
with
going to.
Alberta.
That's a
Start with
whole.
Alberta. It only takes one.
I know.
Well,
'Cause everybody's going after Alberta. Succeeds from the Commonwealth. What you would call this. the rest will fall and follow them because I know BC's with them, Saskatchewan's going to go with them, and then of course Manitoba and Southern Ontario. Toronto North can be a lip tart as they want all on their own because once Southern Ontario's gone, all the borders are tied up, so they can cross at Kingston for all I care. Don't care. They can go down to Watertown, New York, and cross there.
Quebec and Northern Ontario and give them to Macron. Nova
There you-
Scotia. Get out of here.
I agree. Go
Well,
get out the north. I don't care.
We'll take Greenland. The hell with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
right.
I love that. Trump.
All right, let's close it out, fellas. We
All right,
were about
then.
a half hour long.
Good
It was
talking
a great
to you.
show.
Loved
Love
it.
you all. I think the next time we will be on will probably be Friday. We're not going to run tomorrow. Totally cool. Friday might be a panel show. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out. But we're not running Wednesday for all the listeners. We got stuff we got to do. Hey,
I'm
listen.
sorry, folks. I don't have the mojo. If you haven't gotten enough of me tonight, I'm sorry.
It's not just you. It's not just you. It's not just Edward. It's not just me. It's we don't have the gas that we want to deliver tomorrow properly. You know, when we do these episodes, we want to deliver the gas properly. So we're just not going to run tomorrow. It's just going to happen. Like it sometimes, and for the audience who's been watching since we're on episode 78, since episode 1, sometimes I will just do these all by my goddamn self. That's not where I'm going right now. So we're just going to skip Wednesday. It'll give you time to watch the other stuff that you like to watch. It'll be fine. We'll be back Friday.
The Yanke and the Canuck will still be back on Tuesday. Though.
Prayers for my barbecue and my employee meeting tomorrow because that's what's going on.
Gotcha.
Oh, man, I hope you burn us hot dogs.
All right. I'll Canuck them.
Hold the nail, would you?
I get a walk by this is going to take me like 4 hours, and it's